my name's Rachel. I'm at the British Racing School. I'm a student here and I'm now about to show you how to muck out a shavings table. Right, as you can see I'm wearing a smock and this is to protect your clothes from getting dirty and smelly. Anyways, I'm now about to pin the door back. This is obviously just to get it out of the way. The equipment I need to use for mucking out is a muck sack for the mess, and then just a broom and a metal shavings fork, and I like to use a basic, just a normal fork, just for digging out the sides. So yeah, first of all we lay the muck sack out, and I'm now going to get the water buckets to go down the corners, otherwise it'll blow up and go away. If I put these on each corner, then it'll be a lot easier. Right, and then first of all, you get the basic visual droppings on the top. Just flat lights skimming over the top, so I can find all the poos that are around. It's a lot easier than if you dig up the sides and they all fall out. It's just a lot easier, really. Right, as you can see, the visual droppings, like the main stuff, is all gone. First of all, you sort of dig out one side of the bed, because obviously it's just for get all the dust and whatever's underneath there. As you see, the last person done this side as it's all clean and stuff, so I'm now going to do this side, where the water would go. So first of all I would just take the cleaner stuff off. Just digging out here, you can see there's, well, you might not be able to, but there's bit wet down here from where the horse has just dropped the water everywhere. And you can see now it's quite fine and quite dusty down here, so I'll now sort of break it up and just get whatever poos fall out. Right, this bit's quite wet from where the water has fallen, so I'll remove that because it will mould and then won't be very good for the breathing of the horse if it gets too dusty. So that bit can be taken out. Yeah, and if the bed, for instance, if this was left, this would get quite soil-like, and it'll go really dusty. And say, for instance, I don't, but if somebody was mucking this out and they had asthma, this really wouldn't be very good for their breathing, so I would be able to wear a dust mask to stop it from, obviously, me breathing it in. So it'd be a lot more easier and a lot more healthy for the person who's doing it. So now I'm going to sweep this side out, as I've cleared out what I need to. But make sure you get in the actual corner and just sweep on your muck sack. take up afterwards. Right, you see that's all done now, so you now would replace it, but if the bed would need shavings, then you just put the new shavings on there so that that old stuff would then go on the bed and be used, and then when someone would come around and do it again, then they would pull that bank down and then replace it again. But as this one don't need shavings, we just put it back. This is where the water would go. You wouldn't really have a bank right under the water because the horse isn't really going to use it there. So I'll just flatten it out down. Also now it's time and all the droppings have gone and that, so we're now just going to dig out each side of the walls just to get whatever else is left in there really. So I'm just going to start off, we've got to get right in there, and if anything falls down then obviously I'll remove it because it's not really going to be in there. So get right. Now go on to the bank one. Obviously, when everyone, like each day when other people do this, they will do one certain bank which will sneak out and stuff, so it's not obviously too bad, but it's just good to shake them up as it does get compact. And if they don't do, if they leave one for I don't know, a few days, then they're going to get poo stuck in there. So it's good just to shake it all up and get whatever's in there. And also this is good it'll be a lot more easier for those mucking out, it's not such a hard work, but as you can see it is good fitness for you because obviously digging away at it makes you a bit tired. But no, it is a lot easier for those who then had to come around to muck it out, because then at least it's a lot more looser and it's a lot quicker. So yeah, right. Now, as you can see, I've dug them all out. I'm now going to get whatever wet's around in here, so I'll just take whatever top layer there is. If there's any droppings that fall down, I'll just remove them. Now coming to the wet here, so it won't take too much off the top of there, we'll just take it out. And as you can see, it's where the wet is. Just remove that and then see what else we can. obviously, if there was a horse in here, you wouldn't be able to clear this floor like this I can right now, because obviously if it's in here, you'd have to make sure you move the horse over and there's still stuff for it to stand on, not just the concrete. So if there was a horse in here, for instance, and I wanted to do this side, I'd make sure that this side is free for it to stand on some shavings, and then once I'd done that, I would bed that, make sure I swept all that out and bed that down for it and move it over for it to stand on there. And then I would then move on to this side and do the same again. And the reason why we move them over obviously is for your health and safety, because at the end of the day, if you've got a horse in here and if it kicks at you, then it's not going to be very good. But obviously there's no horse in here, so I can just quickly do the whole floor. And I've got just as much droppings out as I can. I'm now going to sweep it out to get all the dust and if there's all the wet shavings from the weed. Now that it's swept, I'm now going to bed down each side. So I'll start with this side. And get any droppings that fall out. Now start to build this bank for the protection of the horse when it lays down, and if it stops him from getting like cast or anything up on the wall, just keeps him away from it really. So chuck like an even amount of shavings up, and I'll flatten over the top. I just do this really just for presentation. It just looks a lot neater and presentable for any visitors, or even just nice for the horse really, just have a feel that it's got a nice clean bed and you can just come in and relax. And then we go out there on this side. Make sure that you get an even amount of shavings along the floor, because like otherwise if you had like bits where it's all thin and all thick, then it's not really very nice for the horse to lay on. If it rolls down and it then hits concrete, then it's not really good for the horses. So just to make sure that everywhere's all neat, like all flattened and stuff, so I just sort of put my fork over top to flatten it off. So I'll do this bank now. Now bring down this bank. off and neatened off. Just now I'm going to go over the top of the bed, make sure everywhere is even and got the same amount everywhere. And just so I can get the rest of whatever poos come up on top. Been done quite regularly and just get whatever's in the corners and get your hand there. So when we put the new water in, we would just tip some of the water out obviously, and we just give our buckets a good clean on the outside.